Hello everyone, I am Sudipto Pandey, Faculty of English of Pakur Polytechnic Pakur. So in this lockdown, we are stuck in our homes, and due to which our college has decided to provide you all online education so that your studies won't get hampered. So today we are going to start the very first chapter of the second semester, that is Introduction to Communication. So before starting, I would like to share the screen first. I'm going to teach you with the help of a PPT. So as we are very much familiar with the word communication, it is originated from a Latin word that is communis, which means common. Means to say that there should be something in common, then only we can communicate with each other. So we can say that communication is a process through which we share our feelings, our ideas, our thoughts with our near and dear ones. So, in this activity, all the activities or all the acts of listening, speaking, reading, writing, facial expression, actions, color, etc., all are included in communication. And it is a never ending process in the world of human beings, or you can say in the world of animals and plants also. So if we talk about the definition, so communication is a process of exchanging of facts, ideas, opinions, and emotions with one or two persons or more than that. Until now, no one is able to define this concept because it is such a vast word which can't be defined in a sentence which could satisfy all its aspects. So many peoples have given their definitions. So there is no any fixed definition of this word. So in basic terms, we can say that communication is a process of exchanging facts, ideas, opinions, or emotions with two or more persons. So now the question may arise that what is the need of the communication? So the answer is very simple, that as our definition suggests, that whenever we need to share our feelings and ideas with one or more peoples or two or more peoples, that is known as communication. So this is the main need of the communication. And if we talk about any organization, so it plays a very much important role in attaining the objectives of the organizations. Because suppose if we are if I have to sell a mobile phone, so in this regard, I have to communicate what are the features of the mobile phone. Then only the buyer will buy the phone from me. Without communicating the features, I won't be able to sell the some mobile phone. So in the features, we can say that it has 48 megapixel camera, or it has 6 GB RAM or 128 GB memory, and a Snapdragon processor. Uh, whatever the features you are having in your phone, you have to first communicate with it with your customer or with the buyer. Then only he will buy the phone from you. So without communicating, I won't be achieve the goal of uh, whatever the goal I am having. So in so this is the case of the organization also. So in organization also, communication plays an important role for achieving its goal or its objectives. And the one more very important function of communication is that we need it for our day-to-day activities also. So it is essential whenever we are going to buy something or uh, whatever we want to save with someone. So for that, communication is needed. So in day-to-day activities also, communication plays a very important role, and it is essential for the function of the or the process of management also. Now, what are the situation of communication? So always remember that in communication, at least two persons are required. The first one is the sender, and the second one is the receiver. The person who is desirous of passing some kind of information is known as sender. Whatever the message is being passed, so it will be received by the receiver. So we can say that there should be a person to whom the message or the information is to be passed on. The next is whatever the message is being passed, the receiver partly or wholly understand the message passed on to him. And after understanding the message, whether it is partly or wholly, the receiver responds through the feedback. The next is what is the importance of communication. So just now we have seen one example of the organization, and as I have given the example of selling a mobile phone, if I need to sell a mobile phone, for that also communication is needed. So for achieving any objectives or goal of the organization, communication is needed. So you can say that communication is the lifeblood of any business. So no business can be performed without effective communication. And one more important importance of communication is that it promotes a spirit of understanding and cooperation between the management and the employees. So without communication, we won't be able to promote a spirit of understanding and cooperation. So for that, effective communication is needed. So we must have heard one word, that is negotiation. So many students get confused that what negotiation is. In simple terms, you can say that we use a word bargaining. So whenever we go to the market before buying any products or any products which don't have any MRP on it, we used to do bargain. Then only we buy. So bargaining is similar to the negotiations. So in this, for negotiation also, communication is important, and it helps to keep in touch with the distributors, retailers, individuals, customers also. If if we talk about any job, in that also communication plays an important role in the field of supervision also, because without communicating, you won't be able to supervise your workers or your teammates. And without effective communication, once again, there will be no cooperation, and you won't be able to achieve your targets. And which is very common that for moral boosting and for motivating anyone, communication is needed. So this is communication cycle, and this is very important for your examination. So as I have earlier said that two persons are needed. The one is sender and the other is receiver or the recipient. Sender is someone who is desirous to send the message. Clear? So these all are the elements in exams. One question usually comes that draw the communication cycle and define its elements. So whatever the names are present here are the elements, and In the next slide, I have given all the definitions of the important elements which are present here. So first, with the figure, first get understand that sender is someone who is desirous to send any kind of information, whatever the message he is having in his brain. It is present in a scattered way, in a scattered form. So before uh, giving the message or before transmitting the message, what the sender does is encoding. Encoding means it is a process in which we construct our ideas into a meaningful sentence. So after, and this and it the all process takes place in our brain only, and it is so fast that we can't feel this process. So after encoding, the sender sends the message. The message is being carried with the help of a channel. Channel can be of anything. It can be any mic, or it can be any speaker, or it can be any electronic media, WhatsApp, Facebook, or YouTube, anything. Then, with the help of channel, the message is being transferred and it is received by the recipient or the receiver. After receiving the message, the receiver decodes the message, or you can say that it is a role of the receiver for decoding. In decoding, what the receiver does is that uh, he simply interprets or he simply interprets or translate the message into its mother tongue so that he could understand properly whatever the sender wants to say, and whatever the receiver understands after decoding the message. So it may be wholly or partly. So whatever he understands, according to that, he again gives the feedback to the sender, and this process continues. So it is a never ending process. So in these slides, all the definitions are present. So you can note down the definitions and get it uh, memorized. And it is very much important. And once again, I am saying that it is an important question which usually comes in the exams also. So sometimes I have seen that many students get confused between these two terms, encoding and decoding. So I have added this slide here. In examination, this kind of question, it doesn't come. What is the difference between encoding and decoding? Just for understanding, I have added this slide. Encoding is so for the so first just you can understand this term as that encoding is the role of a sender and decoding is the role of a receiver. In encoding, whatever the ideas are present in the mind of a sender are present in a scattered form. So before transmitting whatever the ideas we are having or the sender is having, what the sender does is that sender first construct his ideas into a meaningful sentence, and the process of constructing the ideas into a meaningful sentence is known as encoding. If we talk about decoding, so decoding is the process which is done by the receiver, and after getting the message, what the receiver does is that the receiver transmits the message. The receiver interprets the message and translate it into its mother tongue, so that he gets to understand whatever the sender wants to transmit the information, and after understanding, he gives the feedback to the sender. Now, if we talk about the features of the communication, so you can say that it is a summary of the everything whatever we have read till now, that it is one of the essential elements of all the activities at all levels in human beings. The second thing is that for any communication, at least two parties are required, that is sender and receiver. The third point is, as I have earlier discussed, that it is a never ending process. So you can say it is a continuous process. The fourth one is that there can be several mediums of communication. Here, medium refers to the channel. As I already said, the channel can be any electronic media such as WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, or it can be any mic or speaker. So it can, so several mediums can be there for communication. Next point is that it deals with the transmission of facts, ideas, and feelings. After that, we can say that communication is an understandable device of information. So this is the last topic of the chapter, that what are the objectives of the communication. The very first thing is that to achieve the goals or objective of any business or any organization, communication is regarded. That's why it has been said that communication is regarded as the lifeblood of any organization. So it is a very important point. And in exams also, it usually comes that why communication is regarded as the lifeblood of the business. So here is your answer, that without communication, we won't be able to uh, achieve the whatever the ideas or goals any organization is having. The second point is that it helps to improve the performance and job satisfaction of employees at all levels. So if any of the workers or any of your teammates is unable to perform well, so in that condition also you need to do moral boosting, and you can only do this with the help of communication only. The third is with the help of communication. With the help of communication, we can improve the image of the organization with the help of our employees and the general public. The second last point is that it improves understanding, approval, and support of the organizational position on vital economic, political, and social issues. The last is that it keeps the management informed about the attitudes, trends, and reactions among the employees and the general public. So whoever is present in the role of a management, he get informed with the help of communication only, that what are the attitudes or reactions is being going on among the employees, or what general public, what is the reaction of the general public regarding their organization. And through this, the management can improve its process of managerial works also. So thank you, stay safe, stay at home. So we will meet in the different session with a different chapter.